How was it like? Imagine, father-in-law mo, presidente ng Pilipinas, si Fidel Ramos.
Wala naman siya doon, you know? Tsaka, I was more restricted through Joe. Kasi Joe is very tikahon.
How long did your marriage last?
We stayed married until she died.
So when she passed away, were there some unresolved issues?
Yeah, she never talked to me after that. It takes two people to fix a relationship. And Joe stayed angry for so long.
Let's clarify once and for all. Nagka-something ba kayo ni Ate Guy? Or were you more than friends, less than lovers? Ano ba talaga?
You know what happened there?
Parang lately, yung before she passed away, parang medyo may tampo sa'yo si Ate Guy.
Kasi that was a time na dapat binigyan na siya ng National Artist Award. Pero dinelay yun. Kasi nga sinasabi nila because of her personal life.
Kadaldal, my very special guest today on Dollywood PH is my high school crush na walang kupas hanggang ngayon, of course, Lloyd Sammartino. Hi, Lloyd!
Hello mga kadaldals.
Welcome to Dollywood
Hi,
PH.
Dolly. Long time.
Grabe, nung ako'y sweet 16, ikaw aking special guest. Ngayon,
Siguro,
sweet 60 or
sweet
spicy
17 ako noon,
oh,
probably.
spicy 60 na ba? Or hindi sweet na? Guess na naman kita.
Fine.
O yan yung picture pakita natin. Ba't ganyan yung
Dapat,
picture natin? Hindi tayo nagtitinginan. No? Parang
I
kilig
know.
na kilig ako noon. Hindi ako makatingin sa'yo ng
Uy,
diretso.
ikaw pa. I'm sure nasawa ka na sa lahat ng mga artista doon. Because of your mom.
Ikaw talaga high school crush ko. Kaya ikaw ang pina-invite ko sa mom ko nung 16th birthday ko. Anyway, what's your secret to aging gracefully? Grabe, pareho kayong hulma ni Gabby Concepcion at ni Aga Mulak, our friends, no? Hindi kayo tumatanda.
They look great. I don't know, just being at peace with yourself, be happy, and not care so much about what people say.
Yeah. Dead ma sa nega.
You have to.
We have to
Focus on the
refuse
positive.
to feel or act our age para we won't look our age, diba? Kailangan maintain ang market value.
Oo naman.
Alam mo yan.
Oo naman,
And
syempre.
did you go through midlife crisis, Lloyd? How did you
I
handle
think
that?
I also did. Siyempre, you get to a point in your life when you don't know what to do. I think lahat naman dumadaan doon. Kaya lang in my particular case, fortunately, I sat it out. And when that happened to me, I was living in the States na. I wasn't here. So nobody saw my crazy moments of fear. Because, you know, a midlife crisis is fearful because hindi mo alam ano bang gagawin ko sa buhay ko, saan ba ako papunta. Lahat yun, dumaan ako doon. But there's God. And if you rediscover your God, you realize that if you surrender it, you'll find your direction. That's what happened to me.
Anong mapapayo mo sa mga, kasi sa mga millennials out there, hindi niyo po alam, talagang si Lloyd po ang isa sa pinaka-sikat na matinee idol back in the day. Na hanggang ngayon matinee idol looks pa rin. So anong ma-advise mo sa mga matinee idols today na pinag-usapan natin kanina about investing, saving their money?
Well, I think this all will go up and down. Our career will go up and down, diba?
Showbiz is not forever.
You know, but you can stay. I mean, I plan to act as long as I can for as long as there's a market that's asking me to join. But you have to be smart with your money. You have to learn to invest in property. Yun lang ang matuturo ko sa mga ano. Kasi mahirap mag-business ng parlor or supermarket,
Risky.
restaurant, unless you know the business and you're relying on someone else.
So it's really not how much you earn, but how much you save, di ba?
How much you keep.
Tingnan niyo po si Lloyd. Dalawa lang naman ang building. Ilan ang units? Grabe. Manghihingi nga ako ng isang unit. Panging susi, mama. 37 units. Grabe.
Kasi I learned the hard way, Dolly.
So even without showbiz, talagang
When I
mabubuhay
came
ka.
back from the States, I remember,
When you
before
took a
I had gotten
hiatus,
married,
yeah.
di ba? Lahat ng mga savings ko na na-save ko nung sikat pa ako, syempre, nadideplete mo yon. Kasi what do you do with yourself? You have to jumpstart your career. And 7 years is a career suicide for any actor. That's too long. You know, there's a whole generation of new talent already. So, ang kinakato ko nun, I remember, are my old director friends, Mario J. Kaya lang, you know, yung sila naman, pitik-pitik lang ang mabibigay na work sa'yo until mag-pick up yung career mo. You know, and the weird thing about it is, eventually, I had gotten married. Fortunately, I married into a prominent family. So,
Anak lang naman ng presidente ng
so-
Pilipinas, ang ex-wife mo, the
so,
late
I
Nora.
learned business. You know, when I was in that world, I learned to take advantage of my opportunity. So I started to do business. And then eventually, when that ended, ang natutunan ko kasi nung nakatira ako sa States naman, you have to learn how to save. Kasi you're on your own there. Di ba? So nadala ko yung pagdating dito. And I realized, saan ako dadamputin? Wala akong I mean, I cannot be a DI. And, you know, I don't know what I'll end up doing.
Instructor.
A dirty
Hindi ka rin
instructor.
macho dancer.
Kaya nga eh. I got offers.
Oh my gosh,
Sabi ko
mag-macho
sa'yo,
dancer.
No. I was
You got
offered a
offers?
movie, some indie movies.
Akala ko magmamacho
Sir,
dancer
kunyari
ka."
tatay ho kayo ng mga macho dancer. Dati kayong macho dancer. Sabi ko, ibigay mo na lang sa iba yan. Diyos ko, hindi ko alam anong mukha kong bibigay
Pero
sa
hypothetical,
father-in-law.
kunwari di ka nakapag-ipon, Lloyd, would you enter that field, yung macho dancing?
No. I have a brain. Why go that route
Hindi
for
mo
me?
puhunan yung katawan.
Tsaka, you know, I would do other things.
Well, some people have their
learn-
reasons naman for doing
Oh,
that.
I don't knock it.
Parang hindi ka ma-imagine gumigiling-giling.
You
Na
imagine
mga
that.
wholesome. Nabanggit mo yung marriage, I hope it's okay to talk
Sure.
about it. How was it like? Imagine, father-in-law mo, presidente ng Pilipinas, si Fidel Ramos.
Not only that, kasi neighbor ko naman sila before when I was young.
So, love thy neighbor pala nangyari
Neighbor
sa
ko
inyo.
sila
Literal.
FDR. Saka, he was also a fan of my mom, so he would sometimes watch my mother's shows. Or my mom would perform for mga generals, kung minsan gano'n. So, I got to know their family pretty well.
So, doon mo na-meet si Joe.
Doon ko na-meet si Joe. But Joe, I was closer to her younger sisters, not Joe. Kasi Joe is 6 years ahead of me eh. But eventually, kami yung nag-click. So we dated for about less than a year. Kaya lang after that, you realize, you know, I had other interests na. I moved out to Magallanes. Sila naman, syempre, I think they went to Alabang already. So our lives moved ahead separately. And then it was during the campaign of FDR was running again. Because of Tita Cory, through Chris, si Mother Lilia nag-supply ng mga talents ng FDR that he needed. So I was one of those. Yung ako naman, pagbalik ko dito, nakita kami ni Mother. Sabi ko, Mother, I need to get back to work. So sabi niya, ay nako, ikaw kasi wala ka, alam mo naman si Mother. So anyway, eventually sabi niya, sige, sumama ka doon. Mag-host ka dyan, kumanta-kanta ka dyan. Tapos nakita ako ni FDR, sabi niya, hey, how are you? Sabi ko, sir.
Presidente na siya nito.
Hindi pa, tumatakbo pa lang siya. And then ginawa ko, ginalingan ko talaga. I started hosting. And then he liked it. Then sinabihan niya si Mother, from now on, I want him as part of this. So naging part na ako ng sortie niya. Tapos
Marriage
nagkita
na pala.
kami ulit ni Joe. Then slowly we got, kasi siya yung nagko-coordinate ng mga music ng
Pero what was it like na nung kasal kayo ni Joe, tapos father-in-law mo nga si FDR, si Fidel Ramos?
Truth be
strict?
told, my father-in-law is a brilliant man. I was more restricted through Joe. Kasi Joe is very dikahon. FDR is a general. Cool si FDR.
Yeah, I've met
diba?
him.
You've met him. Tsaka siya, madali siyang kausap.
Nung nagkakaproblema ba kayo ni Joe, tumatakbo ka dati kay FDR?
No, I don't. Kasi wala naman siya doon, Tsaka napaka-crybaby ko naman kung tatakbo ko sa kanya. But
Tsaka he had the whole country to run, di ba?
exactly. Tsaka he had bigger problems than my problems. But I got close to my mother-in-law, kay Ming, and she is a wonderful listener. Alam mo yon, makikinig yon, and then she'll give you an opinion. But she never forced me to do this or that or that. Basta sinishare ko lang, Ma, this is what's going on in my marriage, blah, 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 blah.
How long did your marriage last?
We stayed married until she died. But about 3 years into it, I moved out of Arlegui na.
So
We
when
really
she
have
passed
to-
away, were there some unresolved issues?
Yes, almost. She never talked to me after that because she felt na para bang...
When she passed away, wala kayong
No,
communication?
wala.
How did you handle that? Yung parang
Well,
yung regrets, pagsisisi,
hindi
na
naman.
marami kang
You know,
gustong sabihin na hindi mo nasabi.
Kasi to me, it takes two people to fix a relationship. And Joe stayed angry for so long. And when I would visit my son before, seryo, sabi ko, we have to put aside our differences for the sake of our son. But I guess she felt like, if you don't want to work on this marriage, then I will make it difficult for you to have a relationship with your son. So naging pawn yung anak ko. Then eventually, when she died, up to now, I'm still courting my son for a closer relationship.
He's 25?
He's 32.
So paano nag-heal you? Kasi he's been estranged, di ba?
Well, my
from
mother-in-law was the one who put it together.
instrument.
Kasi he was about to go to school in the States, and because he he was underage at the time, they needed my consent. Nasa loob-loob ko naman, you're the president, you don't need my consent. But they went by the law. You're the parent, you have to sign a consent form that we can take him to the States. So that gave a chance for him and me to meet again. But he wasn't talking to me, he was just quiet. Oo, at the time.
Anong sama ng loob niya sa'yo? Exactly.
I don't know what he was told about me.
Baka brainwash.
Na, I don't know, but basta he stayed distant. Siguro, yung feeling niya, wala ka naman. Yung hindi niya kasi nakita
absentee father ka.
Hindi niya nakita yung problema namin mag-asawa. Ang nakikita niya lang, I'm never there. And John naman is very doting to him.
Parang ikaw naging bad guy.
Oo. Kasi I was explaining nga to him when we were talking already. Sabi ko, alam mo, ganyan din na nangyari sa akin ng dad ko. My mom and my dad separated. My dad is an Italian-Australian. He cannot live in the Philippines kasi wala naman siyang business dito. Yung mom ko, nag-uumpisa na maging star. So, my mom didn't want to live abroad anymore with him.
So, paano yung nangyari sa'yo? Nangyari din sa kanya? Parang history repeats itself.
History repeated itself. So, I was trying to tell that to my son. Sabi ko, alam mo, sabi ko gano'n, you take a look at what's happened to me. Kaya lang, sabi ko gano'n, ako, given the opportunity, I will try to get to know my father. Had he lived, I would have wanted to get to know him.
You never met your dad.
When they separated. Kasi my mom also hid me.
Parang teleserye pala ang buhay mo.
Sabi sa'yo.
Dapat gawin pala yung kwento mo sa
Two generations na parehong-pareho. Although my mom naman never badmouthed him, I just didn't know who he was until I met his family much later. When I say family, his brothers and sisters. I went to Canada. They had all migrated to Canada na. Then I was surrounded by Samartinos naman, all these Italians.
Nakamukha mo lahat.
Nakamukha ko lahat. So naninibago din ako kasi they were very welcoming. But para bang I felt cheated that my father wasn't there. They were trying so hard to make up for it.
Yeah, but they could not compensate for
But,
his absence and the years that
tsaka hindi ko siya kilala. Yung kinikwento nila, alam mo, your dad is like this.
Hindi ka makarelate.
Siyempre nakikinig ka, but it's like they're telling you a story of someone you don't even know. That's what happened.
So how are things between you and Sergio now, your son?
Okay naman.
Kasi kakakasal lang niya, di ba?
Yes. Okay kami. It's still a work in progress. Maybe when he has children someday, then that will be the catalyst. Sometimes kasi gano'n ang mga anak natin. Ako, I leave it to God. Basta ako, I'm ready anytime. Whatever happens, I'm ready.
But at least ano na kayo? Nag-uusap na.
Nag-I love you na kami. Okay na kami gano'n.
And yung asawa, close ka na rin.
Oh.
Did you give him marriage advice, si Sergio?
No.
You're not the right person to
Tsaka I don't give him career advice. He's not that way. Yung hindi siya gano'n na...
So you don't see yourself in Sergio at all? You're totally opposite?
We're very different. He's more like his mother. He's very rigid in what he wants to do. Kasi ako, I'm very flexible eh. I learned it being in this industry. Today may taping, bukas wala. You learn. Tapos yung hindi mo alam, biglang kinas ka sa pelikula, hindi mo alam. You have to be ready to strike. And they're not that way. He's not so much that.
He walks in a straight line.
Oo. Ano siya? Teka, ayusin natin. Kasi ganun si Joe dati.
Kung makakausap mo si Joe right now, anong gusto mong sabihin sa kanya? Your late wife.
Well, first of all, congratulations on having raised a very good son. That much he is. Number two, I am grateful that you gave me a son. Whatever our differences are, it doesn't matter in the bigger scheme of things. This is a reminder to all the parents who are estranged with each other that have children. Set aside your
Kasi
differences.
nagiging collateral damage.
Yes.
Kumbaga, yung mga bata.
Tsaka, it affects you. Kasi alam ko yun because that's the position I was put in when I was young. You set aside your hurts and your anger for the sake of the children. I know it's easier said than done, but you have to learn that.
Parang to honor the love that you once shared, di ba? Once upon a time. Parang that's the best gift we can give our children eh.
I hope so. Tsaka hindi lang yun. You have to let go and prioritize someone else. That's the ultimate sacrifice, an ultimate form of humility and love. Di ba?
Pwede kang ng buka, etiquette for exes.
Oo, for ex. Yung parang movie.
Kasi ako, I don't see the point in bad-mouthing on ex. Kasi nasa DNA na anak mo yan. Parang if you're bad-mouthing your ex, binabad-mouth mo din yung anak mo eh. Baka balibalik na rin yung mundo.
Tsaka, they will there is a residual effect with children. I didn't think before. Akala ko, like pag nanonood ako ng mga crime shows, yung anatomy of a killer, bakit nagiging ganyan yan, makikita mo a lot of them have very bad childhood traumas. Either you're sexually molested, you're physically molested, you're belittled, all of that. I used to ask myself, bakit ganon? Yung binubugbog ka ng tatay mo nung maliit ka, tapos paglaki mo, bubugbugin mo rin yung anak mo. Eh, alam mo naman kung ano yung nararamdaman ng binubugbog na bata.
Cycle.
And yet, it happens. And I never could understand that. Kaya nga, if you love your children, you have to love them more than you hate each other. is really the secret there. To me. Parang ano rin yan, sa parents natin, yung it comes at a point wherein you become the parent of your parents. Kasi magiging makulit na sila.
Kasi we can divorce from our partners, but we cannot divorce ourselves from our children.
Your parents. You cannot.
Yung paano na tayo nag-marriage counseling dito?
Well, sometimes people need to be reminded.
Oo. Speaking of relationships, known fact naman yan na first girlfriend mo ba si Jackie Lu Blanco?
Yes.
Oo.
Yes.
So, anong fondest
Back
memory
in the
mo?
day.
Oo, of Jackie
Well,
Lu.
I think it was
Papi Love ba yun?
Oo, si Ricky Lo ang nag-put together sa amin.
Ricky Lo.
Kasi putas in a magazine.
I
Kasi
miss
nga,
him.
di ba, Pilita and Carmen were like the Nora Vilma of their day in the strip,
So,
Ross
naging
Boulevard.
kayo ni Jackie.
So,
kasi kayo
nung ano sila, nung ginawa ni Ricky, ginawa kami ng pictorial na 4 kami initially. So, enamored with her at that young age. Tapos, it was
Until
all
now, you're in
new
good terms
to...
naman.
Yeah, well, Jackie naman
a
is
small
easy
world.
breezy kind of girl, di ba?
yes.
Lahat naman kaibigan niya.
Mapunta naman tayo kay Ate Guy. Let's clarify once and for all. Nagka-something ba kayo ni Ate Guy? Or were you more than friends, less than lovers? Ano ba talaga ang
You know what
totoo?
happened there?
Nung Ani Batumbakal
When
days.
I was doing Ani Batumbakal, it was explained to me na ililink kayo sa press.
Ni Ate Guy.
Ni Ate Guy.
Okay.
I know that she was with someone else at the time.
Okay.
But
Hindi natin pwede i-reveal
hindi
sino
ko
yan.
maalala na yun. But
Ako makamultuhin tayo ni Ate Guy.
Ililink kayo. And because I was new in the industry.
Ay, yung PRO ang nagsabi.
Oo, yung sinabihan ganon. Basta wag kang papa-interview na ganito, na hindi, wala pala, it's all fake. Basta pag ano ka, you always say nice, glowing things about her. And I like Guy because we're friends. You know, we became very good friends. Pero we were never an item. It
So,
was
parang
just...
gimmick lang.
Yes.
No?
Hindi ba uso naman?
Oh yes, parang papakiliti sa fans.
To tickle the fans.
You were mentioning to me kanina before the interview started na parang lately, yung before she passed away, parang medyo may tampo sa'yo si Ate Guy.
Siguro mga a year or two before that. Kasi naging magkaibigan kami sa Messenger. I remember I was telling her, sabi ko, kasi that was a time na dapat binigyan na siya ng National Artist Award. Pero dinelay yun, di ba? And my feeling is, kasi nga sinasabi nila because of her personal life, your personal life has nothing to do with your contribution.
Achievements, yeah, her body of work.
Your body of work. Sila Marlon Brando, a lot of them, gulo-gulo ng personal life nila. But their contribution to the industry is what you're giving her an award for.
I think it comes with the job description. If you're an artist, parang given na yun, na medyo
you have a,
kurung-kurung ka.
Yes.
You have that temper.
So, I was telling that, sabi ko, Ate Guy, sabi ko gano'n, you know, you deserve this. Oo nga, sabi niya gano'n, Soup ang tawag sa akin as Superman.
Ayaw nga pala, the original Superman.
Diba? Sabi ko, dapat, Ate Guy, you deserve that. Kasi alam mo naman, iniintriga na. Sabi ko, that
So, she
should
felt
not be a
bad.
criteria.
Dinamdam
So, it was
niya
like
talaga
that
yun.
before. And then, I don't know, later, eventually, nung namatay nga si Direk Mario at sila Jake, I never saw her. I don't know what happened. Siguro, alam mo naman siya na nakikinig siya kung sa mga, alam mo, sabi ni ganito ka raw, sabi ni ganito. So, nung nagkita kami sa
Ni Ate
taping
Guy.
ng Lilet, naka-oxygen tank na siya noon. Pero she was still working. Nung nagkita kami, sabi ko lang, hello, Mama Guy. Then she looked at me lang and she didn't say hello.
May tampo.
Oo, sabi ko, ikaw naman. Huwag ka naman ganyan. Sabi niya, sige na, okay na.
Ay?
Ganon. Alam mo naman yung mga ganong salita. So sabi ko lang, okay, well, it's nice to see you again. I didn't linger anymore.
So, hindi mo na inalam kung ano
Hindi
yung tampo
na,
niya sa'yo.
it doesn't matter anymore. Guy is guy. Noon pa yan, sinasabi ko sa kanya, nung mga close pa kami, pag nagtampo ka, huwag masyadong matagal.
Drama queen siya eh.
Masyado ka
Parang
matagal
in real life din.
magtampo. It shouldn't matter anymore. After a while, you cherish na the friendships that you made along the way. Kung ano man yung mga pinag-awayan no, 1985, 86, 87.
Grabe naman. Dala-dala pa rin niya yun.
Tapos na yun.
Ang bigat naman.
Kasi kung minsan nagsusumbong siya noon about yung narinig niya na sinabi nito na sabi ko, di ba, ang tagal-tagal na noon.
It's not healthy to bear grudges. But I'm sure, Ate Guy's at peace now. And
I hope so.
Lambing lang niya yun sa'yo.
I know. Ako naman, like I said, I've always...
Baka daw kasi naudlot yung romance niyo, ba't hindi daw natuloy? Sa Ani Batumbakal.
I'm sure naman she had more than enough boyfriends to compensate eventually.
Pero iba, Superman.
Eventually.
Oh. Back to those days, how vain were you when you were a matinee idol? Or are you still vain
I
up to
only
now?
became vain then because I grew pimples.
Ay, syempre,
I had
bawal
big
yun.
pimples. Matinee idol. So talagang inis na inis ako pag nakita ko sila Gabi, si Alfie Anido.
Ay,
ang gaganda ng balat. Why me? Why like this? At a time like this, kung kailan I was at the height of my career. But that was about it. Basta ako...
So what did you do? Paano mo na-resolve yung acne from past?
Natapos din. It passes also. Basta ako, in my mind, you eat well, you do not abuse yourself, you get a lot of sleep, you drink a lot of water, and try to be
Everything in moderation.
A good soul that shows. Yung if you try to be a kinder human being, it comes back to you. And then you glow.
And what was the worst rumor about you?
Oh
Yeah.
God. Alam mo na, lahat kami bading. Di ba? Lahat kami from Alfie Anida. Si Alfie
Or
pa naman.
pumapatol sa bading.
War freak. Lahat kami dumaan doon.
Never
you
ka
know?
nakipag-away.
Hindi ko pinapatulan. Pero I
Pero
remember.
how did you handle indecent proposals? Siyempre kasama yan. Mga bading.
I play coy. Ikaw naman, ikaw naman. I try not to
The
put
wrong
myself
signal in a
position where I can be cornered. Magaling ako dyan.
Umiiwas.
Not only that, yung direct, nasaan yung CR dito? Alis na ako. Marunong ako doon, magaling ako doon.
So yan, makinig kayo. Yan ang mga
Kasi
pointers.
hindi mo naman pwedeng bimbangin yung director kasi siyempre big name director ito. So you have to know how to maneuver, not offend them, but also exit nicely.
In a diplomatic way.
Yes.
Was there a time, Lloyd, na carried away ka sa love scene? And how did you handle it?
I can't say more after work. You know, my experience, yung mga flirtation between your leading lady and you. Because when you're working, and you know this, there's so many people in kahit live scene pa yan, hindi ka mata-turn on. It is after the work, you know, yung pag-pack up na, and then relax na kayo. That's where the flirtation comes in. And then
So, nangyari yan?
Of course.
Lahat ba na naging leading lady mo?
Hindi naman, but I had my share.
Ano yan? In alphabetical order o chronological order?
Hindi naman. My God, compared to William and all these people.
My first boyfriend,
kita
William
mo na.
Martinez.
Ako talagang ganyan lang ako. Sila, ganyan.
Pero why did you remarry na after Joe passed away? You're happy now with your partner, Adriana.
With Adriana.
You've been together for 7 years.
Yes.
Aren't you wary of the 7-year itch?
For me, I always tell her nga, sabi ko, babe, you know, I'm with you because it's the choice that I make. If I want to play, then I'll stay single. But I don't want to play anymore. I mean, I've done that.
Been there, done that.
I want to be with somebody that hopefully I'll grow old with. At this point in my life, I don't have an ego to tickle.
Parang hindi ka naman tumatanda eh.
I don't have an ego
So paano
to
yung pag
tickle
medyo
anymore.
may temptation around, medyo may lumalandi-landi sa'yo?
I don't entertain. Kasi I don't want na gumulo yung isip ko. And same thing with her. I mean, actually, between her and me, mas maraming umaaligid sa kanya. But, like I said,
nagsiselos ka. You're
not
too old
really.
for that.
Tsaka hindi naman. Kasi to me, a relationship is an understanding between two people. If you assure me that it is me that you want, I will trust in that until you break it. And vice versa.
When you break it, parang what you can do, I can do better.
Well,
Ganun
then
yun.
kanya-kanya na kayo.
Eh, buti hindi siya nag-insist na, why don't you marry me? 7 years na kayo. Or ayaw mo na.
Hindi
Parang,
naman. I think we have a very modern adult relationship at this point. Kasi when we first got together, 35, 36 years ago.
Longer than some marriages,
Yes.
ha?
And then when we got together again, we had our own lives already. She has a son already. Tapos she's on top of her career. Ako naman.
What's her career?
Well, she's a writer, but she's not a writer for soaps and stuff like that. Corporate writer, I guess. For the Ayalas,
Beauty and
Meralco,
Brains.
for ganun siya. So, ako naman, I got into real estate.
O,
Yun ang
dala-dalawa ang building.
yun
Grabe,
ang-
hindi ako makarecover.
Yun ang naging thrust ko. So when we got together again, nandyan na yan. So you have to adjust your relationship to where you are now. Hindi pwede yung like before na bit-bit ko siya palagi, gano'n. Siyempre, she has a full plate. Dami-dami niyang ginagawa.
So that's
So
what makes your relationship work. Kasi meron kayong sarili-sarili
Yes.
mundo and then you have your world.
And then we have
as a
our
couple.
togetherness as a couple.
Kasi yun ang pagkakamali ng iba, di ba? When they're together, parang they suffocate each other. Kasi parang yun na lang at yun, lahat na.
Tsaka lalo na kami, I mean,
Their world revolves
in our
around each other.
we're in our older years. Not naman old, but
Twilight years.
we're in our
Pinaganda pa na.
mid-years, 50s and up na kami. You have to attack this relationship from a very adult perspective na wala na yung, I mean, may mga konting selos-selos pa rin. Pero napag-usapan na yun eh. To me, I always tell her, sabi ko, babe, I don't want to fight over the itty-bitty little problems. Dapat siya
Waste of energy
na-process
and time.
na natin yan.
Oo.
Basta,
Magkaka-wrinkles lang
bottom
tayo
line,
yan.
do you want me? I want you. That's all I need to know. Nothing else.
Hindi na kayo nagkaanak.
Oo nga eh, sayang eh.
Pero
Sana before.
you're sure isa lang anak mo, ha? Wala naman
As far as I know.
Wala naman nag-claim na
Wala
anak
talaga.
mo. Sayang, hindi ka nagkalap ng lahi.
I know. People tell me nga sana mga 2-3 man lang.
Oo.
Eh wala, hindi ganun ang nangyari.
Among all the movies you've done, what are you most proud of?
A lot of my earlier movies, of course, Gabon, which is my first film with Mario J. Eddie Rodriguez, Charito Solis, Lisa Lorena. That won the Catholic Mass Media Awards for my first film. And then, of course, my first big box office was Ani Batong Bakal with Nora Honor.
Na hindi pala talaga kayo naging ni Ate Guy.
Ano lang yun, front. Ganun lang. Kaya nga
Pero
nakakatawa. Pag
naniwala
ini-interview
lahat.
kami,
Sweetie-sweetie kayo.
Siyempre, yung nakatingin ako sa kanya, nakatingin siya sa akin, you know, yung you play coy, di ba? Yung, so, talagang kayo na ba? So, tanong mo sa kanya. Mga ganon.
Showbiz na showbiz.
Yeah, doon ako natuto.
Pero never mo binalak ligawan si Ate Guy. Talagang friends lang talaga kayo.
Hindi, kasi she was with someone
Masalimuot ang daigdig ni Ate Guy.
Yes,
Alam
daming
natin
nangyayari
yan.
sa buhay niya.
Oo, kasi
But we did 7
to
movies
my mom.
together. No?
7?
Yes.
Sa lahat. O, pero di ka nakapunta nung wake niya, no?
I know.
To
I
the
was
wake
in
of
Rojas
Ate Guy.
nga, you know.
Si
But,
Ate
you know.
Magtatampo uli sa'yo
prayed-
yun.
I prayed for her. I hope that she's finally at peace. Because she
Definitely.
deserves it.
Oo.
I mean, she's had such a tumultuous life.
Oh, yeah. That's an understatement.
Di ba?
Oo.
Dapat kang gawing movie yung buhay
I
niya.
think it's in the works.
Sana.
Oo. About movies naman na parang you regret doing, na parang when you watch it, nagkri-cringe ka. Parang yan,
Meron
yung
din
ginawa
nun.
ko.
I remember my first launching film was Totoy Boogie with Celso Ad Castillo, no less. It was the wrong vehicle for me. Kasi Celso is not a musical director. He and I never got along during the, kasi nai-inlove siya sa mga leading lady niya. So,
niya yun, style
nagkakaroon
niya
ng
yun.
selos-selos. May mga love scene ako dun sa mga So,
Sino leading lady mo?
si Pia Moran at the time.
It Girl siya
It
nun.
Girl siya noon. And that was one of the movies that I knew when I was filming it. Sabi ko, I told my mom, sabi ko, Mom, this is not gonna work. Sabi niya, andyan na yan. You signed the contract. Make it work. Ganun naman ang nanay ko. So sabi ko, okay. So I did it. And then when I watched the movie, people were laughing at the drama scenes.
Parang kinakahiya mo. Parang
I
you
was
wish-
I was just so hurt. Kasi I was told that pagka nakalusot yan, you can frontline a film na from this point on. So ako naman, in my young mind, sige, ako naman ganun naman ako.
Gullible ka pa nun.
Let's do it. Then let's make the most of
Search
this.
ko nga yun, online ba yun? Totoy Boogie?
Meron yan.
Yung
Somebody
makita
sent
yun.
me nga the film. Sabi ko, oh my God, so bad. But anyway, that's one of those films. And then a lot of the other mga...
Parang you did it for the money lang.
Tsaka marami ako mga, even with Nori, mga Reyna ng Pitong Gatang, yung mga ganong-ganong series ba. Although, I also made a lot of very good films with Tito Eddie Rodriguez. I did Unang Yakap with Rio and Lorna. I did Apat na Maria, also with Mario J. There were some gems along the way.
Na-outweigh naman, nung mga gems, yung
Okay
medyo
naman.
not
Yung,
too
I mean,
mediocre
na-experience ko rin what it feels like to be in a quality film. Kasi sometimes you don't. You're so busy doing movies.
Mas important ba sa'yo yung to win an award or
No.
the movie will do well in the box office?
Box office. To me, I would rather have a movie make ₱1 million than win the Best Actor Award. I mean, I also want that. Why not? Pero if you're going to ask me as an actor, not as a producer, I will always say box office.
Na-mention mo yung producing. Do you intend to produce someday or direct? Sabi mo, mag-vlog ka na rin. Oo.
I've always wanted to direct. Kaya lang, because I got into building things, na-set aside ko yun.
Grabe, 37 units. Gawin mo ng 50.
I'm working on
kung
it.
gagawin namang movie yung buhay mo, Lloyd, what will the title be? And who do you want to portray you?
I've never been asked that question. Younger actors.
Maybe Alden Richards. yan.
Probably Alden.
And ang
Probably
title?
Alden, and ano ba yung minsan ay narito ako or something like that. One of those.
Before my final question, kasi meron kami killer question, I'd like to thank Rolling Stone. Wow, ayan, nandyan po
I'm
kami.
so proud of you.
Oh.
Ang laki ng article mo dyan.
Tita Christy and Augie also are here.
all of you guys.
And Tito Boy, Tito Christy, Tita Lolit, and
kompleto.
Thank you so much,
All
Rolling
the
Stone Philippines.
ace
Grab a
journalists,
copy
reporters.
now. Siyempre si DJ ang proper.
Nice.
And siyempre, we'd like to thank Boss Vic for hosting us. It's a Boteju. Napakasarap ng
True.
authentic Japanese food.
Of
na pag
course.
nag-create kayo ng Japanese food, Boteju lang ang go-to place.
Correct.
Salamat also to Ferlin Pareño and to Lorraine and to Dre for their kind assistance. And eto na, my friend, my high school crush. Meron kami portion dito, sagot or abot.
Okay.
Katawaan lang. If hindi mo masasagot, you have to give me something. Not for me, it's for the audience.
Okay.
Parang souvenir lang. Nothing expensive. Okay, ito yung sagot or about question. Sa lahat na naging kapareha mo in the past, meron bang naging girlfriend ka na nalihim sa publiko na pwede nang ma-reveal ngayon? Sagot or abot? Abot mo lang yung isang unit sa building mo sa akin. Pwede na yun. Yung susi.
Meron.
Meron.
Kaya lang, it's not important anymore.
Initials.
You know,
mamaya ibubulong mo na lang
Sige,
sa akin.
sige. Mamaya sabihin.
Huwag mo na sabihin yung susi na lang ng kondo.
Okay. One unit.
Thank you so much. My high school crush, wala ka
Thank you
talagang
for
kupas.
this opportunity.
And we look forward
I'm
to
a fan of yours too.
We look
Napanood ko
forward-
yung mga vlogs mo.
Oh.
Sabi ko, I wanna be part of that.
Oh, we look forward to your vlog and i-guest mo din ako.
Of course. Ikaw naman ang hot seat.
Oo, nako, I will brace myself for
I
that.
want that.
Oo.
Sure.
Thank you so much mga kadaldal. Till next time, and please don't forget to subscribe and spread the word that I'm here on Dollywood PH. Thank you mga kadaldal. Bye!
Bye.